Hari Om. Let us now move on. The next topic in this discussion is the truth of Brahman. Tattva is often said to mean reality, but in fact, it is the Swarupa of Brahman. That Brahman is Satya, unqualified existence, Jnana, knowledge, Ananta, limitless, Shuddha, pure, Nitya, timeless, and so on, can be understood through the various implied meanings, lakshanas of each of these words. Brahman is the cause of the world, Jagat Karana, and at the same time is itself Satya, Jnana, and Ananta. This then is the Swarupa of Brahman and is called Tattva. Brahman is not only Satya but is the Karana for everything. Therefore, everything is Brahman. Brahman plus all names and forms is all that is here. I'm reminded of Swami Vidyaranya's famous verse number 20 in Triktrishya Viveka, which Swami Vidyaranya says, Asti bhati priyam rupam nama chetyamsha panchakam adyatrayam brahma rupam jagadrupam tatodvayam. There are 5 factors that make up this universe or creation. And Swami Vidyaranya says, Asti bhati priyam rupam nama are the 5 amshas. Nama asti bhati priyam rupam nama chet amsha panchakam. Of the 5, he says adyatrayam, meaning asti bhati priyam. Satya Jnana Ananta Ananda Brahma Rupam, Brahma Tattvam, Brahma Swarupam. Then he says the other 2, which means Nama and Rupa. Jagat Rupam Tatodvayam. The latter 2, the Nama Rupa part, belongs to the Jagat. So, Brahman plus all names and forms is all that is here. In the case of ornaments, it is gold plus names and forms. In the case of pottery, it is clay plus names and forms. In the case of furniture, it is wood plus names and forms. In the case of waves, in the case of ocean, in the case of ripples, in the case of anything concerning water, it is water plus names and forms. It is only water that exists. It is only wood that exists. In the case of furniture, it is only gold that has swata siddha. In the case of ornaments, it is only Brahman that has swata siddha. in the case of this creation. So the Tattvadarshinaha, who know the truth of Brahman, understand both Sat and Asat. Both must be known. Sat is Sat and Asat is Asat. Asat depends upon Sat, but Sat does not depend upon Asat. Those who know the truth of everything, Tattvadarshinaha, are called Panditas. The ones who, as we saw earlier, do not come to grief. Na anushocanti panditaha. Why? Why don't they come to grief? Because they know the truth of Asat and Sat, or Sat and Asat. Now, why are you sad? Is it due to Asat or Sat? If you say you are sad because Asat is going, you must see that going is the nature of Asat and that it is not real. The coming and going is the nature of Asat. Therefore, you cannot cry for Asat. Only if you understand. Otherwise, you will go on crying. You're crying because you thought that Asat is Sat. You didn't look upon Asat as Asat. You didn't look at it objectively. When your understanding of Satya is lacking, then Mithya becomes Satya. Wow, what a sentence. When your understanding of Satya is lacking, then Mithya becomes Satya, resulting in confusion. Without Satya, there is no Mithya. Without clay, there is no pot. We have lost sight of clay by getting so involved with the pot. I'm reminded helplessly of that great Tirumandaram shloka over here. மரத்தை மறைத்தது மாமத யானை. மரத்தில் மறைந்தது மாமத யானை. பரத்தை மறைத்தது பார்முதல் பூதம். பரத்தில் மறைந்தது பார்முதல் பூதம். A shloka worth repeating 100,000 times that establishes Satya and Mithya so succinctly. So when your understanding of Satya is lacking, then Mithya becomes Satya, resulting in confusion. Without Satya, there is no Mithya. Mithya must be understood as Mithya and Satya as Satya. Only then does everything fall into its place. A place for everything and everything in its place. Satya does not elicit any sorrow, and Mithya does not have the status to cause sorrow. If there is sorrow, it is Mithya. We will now be entering another significant section in this inquiry, the confusion between Satya and Mithya. There is a well known story that illustrates a confusion between Satya and Mithya. It is as follows. In the court of a particular king, there were two scholars. One was an Advaiti who said that Brahman was Satya and the world Jagat was Mithya. He talked about this constantly. Vedanta, being nothing but a discussion of Satya and Mithya, cause and effect, Karana Karya Bhada. He told the king that Karana was Satya and Karya was Mithya. Karana was Satya and Karya was Mithya. The whole world, including one's body, was Karya and therefore Mithya. There was nothing away from that Brahman, and that Satya, Brahman, was independent of everything. The king did not understand what this scholar was saying, but he liked the idea. There was a fascinating aspect to it because it said that he was wonderful, that he was Brahman, and so on. The king found this pleasant to get up to, to each morning. It was good for his mental health at least. The second scholar was a dualist, Dvaiti, who kept telling the king that he was not Brahman, the Jagat Karana, the cause of the world, and that he was a product subject to Punya and Papa. If he did the right things, he would gain some time in heaven. And if he did not, he would go to more unpleasant places such as Naraka. This scholar maintained that what he was saying was the truth as stated in the Shastra. He even backed up his statements by quoting Vedanta in his daily teaching. The king listened to both these scholars because he wanted to be impartial. Although he generally slept in the second scholar's class, this made the second scholar a little jealous of the other one, who seemed to be getting more attention from the king. The time came when the king went on a big pilgrimage accompanied by a large retinue, including his two teachers. As they walked around through a forest which was infested with many wild animals, a huge elephant with enormous tusks confronted them. The first scholar spied the elephant first and cried out, "Elephant, Maharaj! Elephant!" And then began to run. And of course, everyone else ran too. It should be remembered that these Advaitis are all very alert people. And because they understand things as they are absolutely practical also. Because they are not encumbered by projections, problems, or shadows, they are free to deal with things objectively. So, this scholar was the first to see the elephant and run. The king also ran along with everybody, including the Dvaiti. Let us pick up the thread, this interesting story, the thread of this interesting story, and the tattvam behind it in the following capsule and see what comes of it. On that note, let me wish all of you once again a very happy and prosperous Deepavali. Hari Om. Om Durjana Sajjano Bhuyad Sajjana Shantimapnuyad Shanto Muccheta Bandhebhyah Muktaschanyan Vimochayet Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om